Hello guys, so welcome to this video where I'll be talking about what is AR, the different why designing for AR in education and the pressing need and the facts and figures about the growing need of augmented reality in India and as well as globally. And here it's always started. It's most awaited video which I wanted and a lot of people were asking me on LinkedIn. So here is the video without much talking. So we'll cover some contents around it. So the contents of the year are basically which we'll cover in this video is what is AR and it's some examples of it, some famous examples which set the benchmark of AR and maybe some kind of possibilities for other stakeholders or the market to see the potential of AR. Second is let's see a little bit brief about timeline of AR and little bit of history about high inception times when it actually took birth, and we need to see the history so that we can invent the future or design the future. So that's very pressing need which I wanted to show. Third, why you should be designing for AR, um, specifically for the AR industry. And fourth is five things to keep in mind before designing for any AR solution. Okay, which I personally have also done in projects and have talked to a lot of designers who are working in this area of and the next part of this video will be another video where I'll be sharing a detailed list of all the resources like books, blogs to read, and different publications. Some 10 use cases which I have researched and written down and compiled and documented for all of you folks out there who want to start to make projects in AR in education specifically. So I have some 10 concepts or 10 areas to work on. And one AR concept which you all have checked it out, I might have, I hope so, on LinkedIn about periodic table which I shared. So I think so that is what I'll be sharing here with detail walkthrough guideline of how I did it in my concept of that periodic table, so that you all can see some softwares or different tools to use it. So let's get into it. So what is augmented reality? Let's get a little bit about picture about. Basically, it's a real-time use of information in the form of text, graphics, audio, and other virtual enhancements integrated with your real-world objects around you. So it's basically an overlay of content in your real environment, which you can. That's why it's augmenting your reality. It's termed in that way. So let's see some examples without showing such much definitions. A lot of you people have known this app, which was really eye opener for a lot of people to actually see the user experience of augmented reality on your handheld devices. So this is, yes, correctly guessed, if you all have guessed, IKEA, one of the first companies to use augmented reality to actually leverage their brand or their products in real world for their customers, so they can actually pick and choose from the library of IKEA 3D furnitures or 3D products which they have inside their real environment, and they can check and purchase it later or favorite or keep it in a section of favorite listings. Then second example, a lot of you might be very aware of this gaming app which came around 2016. It was a smashing hit of 2016 with 65 million users hooked to it, and they were actually exploring the higher outcome of this to make people fit in the course of time, but there was no sustainability part of it. Of where I'll also make another video where how what happened in Pokemon Go's sustainable model where it was not able to sustain for longer time. Um, but this was something which also opened the eye of a lot of stakeholders and seeing how augmented reality can be useful for multiple other domains or scenarios. Coming to the third example, this is something a lot of you might not be aware of, but yes, L'Oreal came up with this makeup app where you can actually their products of foundations or different makeup or lipsticks, etc., can be actually used on your face. It detects your face basically and applies the products on your face so that you can get a visual confirmation or visual information before actually taking or choosing the products. So this is just imagine like a Snapchat filters or the Instagram status filters which you're seeing right now. So imagine augmented reality is also inside Instagram filters. So that's what references for you as initial start. And I think so. This is the initial information which is okay for you to start off in designing in AR field. Not much research or much reading. Yes, you want to get into the history. So this is a video where I'll be talking about small inception and research breakthroughs which happened and failures which happened in the brief history of AR and VR specifically. So this is a bonus. I have a VR also considered in this time. So these green markers are nothing but inception, failures, and breakthroughs. Failures are the red marker, and breakthroughs are the blue marker. Let's talk about the inception of basically augmented reality or virtual reality. There was an American science fiction writer, Stanley G. Wakeman, told the tale of a professor who invented a pair of goggles that enabled a user to trigger a movie that gives one sight, sound, taste, smell, and touch. And that story was named Pygmalion Spectacles. Basically, he had this envision or concept in the storytelling where he told that there was a goggles which actually took the user to a different world and where he can actually hear sound, smell, taste, and touch things to actually have a different and experience. So this was something a thought which was actually sparked at the time of 1935. Okay. After 20 years, 1955, for VR, Sensorama was one of the inventions which happened by Morton Hill. Considered as the father of VR, he created Sensorama, an arcade-style mechanical cabinet built to simulate senses. So it included many of the features prevalent in modern-day VR headsets like stereoscopic TV display, stereo speakers, haptic feedback, etc., and vibrations with the user's chair. So if you see over here, he's actually there are vibrators inside his chair, and it was actually some kind of entertainment unit for cinema. Okay. Then the same year, Morton went ahead to patent a VR headset, you can say, which is looking like now, but it's known as the Telesphere Mask then. Patented the Telesphere Mask, the first ever head mounted display, HMD, which you use in normal terms in AR VR industry. Shortly after inventing Sensorama. Now we know where this shape came from and retained thanks to Helix discovery. Then let's see AR. It took a long time at 1990, and I would mention this employee from Boeing Computer Service Research, Tom Caudle. Okay, inception of augmented reality happened there. Let's see the scenario how it happened. So Caudle and his co-worker David Meisel proposed a head-mounted display for construction workers that superimposed the position of cables through the eyewear and projected them onto multi-purpose reusable boards. Okay, so this was used for more inside for employees in manufacturing or um, the what do you say inside basically every plane takeoff or every services in Boeing computer services, they were actually finding it very tedious to do a lot of manual training for folks who are working on the ground zero. So here they actually created this kind of a research lab over there. They created this head mounted display through which actually predict cables and also showed how that cables can actually be color coded and used for users to actually identify which cables can be maintained and worked on. So here Caudle and Meisel coined the term augmented reality for this technology, encouraged AR usage more in industrial settings. So here in 1990, they saw potential in industrial settings where a lot of mundane tasks happen day in and day out. And over there in industrial settings, if you save like 5 seconds also, it's a massive revenue save for a company. So this is what was an achievement back then. So let's see, 1993 again VR. I would call this as a failure because it's researched also and it's there out there. Sega VR headsets for Sega Genesis was actually launched. So Sega announced the Sega VR headset, but in the Consumer Electronics Show, but intended to deliver it for $200 in 1993. But Sega VR was shelved due to testers developed headaches and motion sickness. So that was the reason that due to development difficulties, it was not released to the public. So the conceptual level and the promise was there, but the execution was not happening because of different levels of execution and development failures. Then again, 1993, that same year, Nintendo also, one of the competitors, came into the market showing the Nintendo Virtual Boy was released as the first portable unit capable of displaying stereoscopic 3D graphics. But with concerns about motion sickness again and the risk of developing lazy eye conditions in children, Nintendo changed the head-mounted system to tabletop hardware. Finally, it was never able to meet sales target because of the different complex hardware, and also how there was not much user experience guidance in that part of it. So it was again disappeared from the market. It was another failure for Nintendo. 2010, Oculus, one company, came into the market, and Palmer Luckey was frustrated seeing existing VR head-mounted displays, and was so expensive, extremely heavy, and small field of view, and a lot of things which he wanted to solve. He saw a gap, and Lucky built a series of prototype HMDs, head-mounted displays, focusing on low-cost, large field of view, comfortable weighted headset. So the sixth generation unit, which he actually worked on, this team in our Oculus, was Oculus Rift. And due to an in Kickstarter funding website, they raised $2.4 million because people found it more potential at different use cases, and they saw future to it, near future to it, 2010. So this is one of the breakthroughs which happened for Oculus. And another breakthrough, if you see 2016, 17, 16 was the Pokemon Go. A lot of eyeballs were on it, and it was a massive hit, and it got down. But bigger companies over here took a step to actually venture into AR. So the AR, Apple and Google came up with their own development kits, software development kits for AR, which is AR Kit and AR Core respectively. After the hype of the success of AR game Pokemon Go, uh, Apple and Google released their own takes on AR in the form of ARKit and AR Code for Android and iOS developers, so that a lot of open source or developers can actually build AR experiences for handheld devices and so on and so forth. So this was one of the breakthroughs which happened in 2017 and late 2010. So now let's see, virtual augmented and mixed reality technologies are predicted to be $150 billion by 2020, which is this year is ending right now. So it has been like near to this areas, like a lot of investments are happening in AR VR industries, like Geo, like Spark, like Oculus, Facebook investing in a lot in Indian digital market. Google is also doing the same thing. Microsoft HoloLens is also working into that area, and a lot of other small companies, and Magic Leap is into this. So a lot of companies in AR, VR, and in immersive experiences are working to this area, which is seeing a lot of investment. So let's now come to the third part of it. Why designing for AR in the first place? Okay, let's see some facts about it. Blending virtual with real. As this lockdown happened, it actually um, into four times it saw an increase in virtual presence and virtual experiences. So people want to see, test, trial things when interacting on digital mediums too. So here AR can play a major role in adding value because interactivity in 3D is much better understanding rates than in 2D, because every screen which you're experiencing right now, either it can be your TV set, it can be your laptop, it can be your tablet, or it can be your phone, all are in 2D formats. It's traditional. The traditional thing which is changing right now, and people want more from digital experiences because most of the times they are at home, and it might continue. This scenario of the pandemic might continue for next couple of years till everything becomes more near to normal, which I think. But definitely people will see their safety, and I think so this will, for the couple of years or maybe 3 4 years, this virtual thing will be there. Digital more expansion and impact will be there if people get the power to interact in a much better way or in a much immersive way. Okay, they want more. And as 5G is coming into India, I think so a lot of things will actually be rendered much better than 3D. So potential area. Let's see some investment numbers. Okay, in VR or AR or MR companies, basically virtual reality, augmented reality, or mixed reality companies, specifically if you see from 2015 2020, they have seen a massive growth. It was like downfall from 16 17 because at the launch of Pokemon Go, if you see, a lot of people saw the realization, and it took time for them to actually start investing in this because they were finding hardware issues. They were finding different scalability issues which were being solved at this year. And after that, now they have hardware developed, and it is becoming more better and better the generations as it goes on. But it is reached to it has reached a peak, and it is going much better level. So it's like billions in it. And similarly, if you see for different devices like mobile console or PC, the highest is for PC, and mobile is also slowly catching up. But the increase of the numbers is crazy. So that's another $150 billion of investment, which and it will keep on growing. So I think so. This is an area to upskill yourself, as any designer would actually want to make it a better experience for their users. So 3D design is a growing trend right now, and 2020 we are heading towards where 3D design has the potential to be one of the next decade's definitive design elements. As you have design elements like dark UI or light UI, or minimalism is one kind of a design element or design language. I think so. 3D design also will grow into become a design language. As you can see, surrounding a lot of people, illustrators are coming out and making content in 3D, which users are much better preferring than 2D content. So summarizing, blending virtual with real is much better. Big investments by major companies, and 3D is the growing field. So why AR in education? Let's talk about specifically in education domain. Okay, the real feeling is crucial. While both 2D and 3D graphics can connect with people on some level, rich, detailed 3D graphics are more effective in communicating complex information and inspire genuine feelings for students. So basically, complex science concepts can be shown in a 3D visualization format where it can be very easily understood for kids, and they'll be excited to know. So they illuminate abstract ideas, providing a much richer experience that feels real. Okay, so second is, did you know the fact that researchers say the human brain tends to remember just 10% of what is read, 20% of what it hears, 30% of what it sees, and up to 90% of actions performed or simulated. This means immersive and innovative digital tools will facilitate experiential learning in more effective ways. So I think so more action based, simulation based, interactivity based experiences will have a much better understandability rates and retention rates for students to understand any complex concepts. Here is a very big gap as well as the opportunity. Okay. Third reason can be encourages active learning. So basically, active learning is nothing but the zeal to or the excitement to learn a new concept. Like example, learners have a natural curiosity about VR. We never had a problem getting them interested in using the VR. This very simple fact means that a young learner is coming into the device with an open and curious mind, which is the best starting point for learning to happen. So as this is a new technology, so there is an enticing and excitement factor. And kids introducing to a new thing, there is already an excitement factor to it. So if you build an experience which has a long-lasting impact, so they initially come with an open mindset, which is the very first starting point of learning. What best initial time do you need for kids to learn any concept? So your experiences have a good starting point. Fourth is investment news. As you see, the education sector is forecast to spend more than $6 billion annually on augmented and virtual reality industries by 2020. So price points for equipment are dropping rapidly, like all the head-mounted gear, etc. And as Geo is coming into picture, according to the new market forecast by ABI Research, till then AR will be majorly designed for handheld devices like mobile and tablets. Fifth is India is playing big over here. All the Indian designers out there, I think so. This is where you can play a major role of creating experiences in this area or domain or technology, education or AI. The launch of GeoGlass, which happened 2 to 3 months back, saw massive positive feedback by multiple stakeholders. And with GeoGlass, the company is targeting to bring it at a cost of 10K to 14K, which is the cheapest compared to all VR headsets available in the market right now, like Oculus, HoloLens, HTC Vive, etc. So it's a big leap for us and globally. So to scale it, I think so we need a lot of designers into this area so that if collectively we grow in this area. So sixth is the future is now. I think so. What we are designing is for like near 2 to 3 years, near years of future. So I think so. We are shaping that, and I think so. This is the defining part of actually shaping these experiences. So I think so. Let's get into this area, and people who are interested, I think so. This is the time to actually learn, and more than learning, you can actually execute, because learning happens while you execute too also. So 2020 is expected to start a new era in online learning with EdTech creating big waves. Learning and ads schools will incorporate concepts of global collaboration, personalized learning, simulations, AI, augmented reality, mobile classrooms, and immersive learning experiences. So here is our cookie. So these are the six summarized to real feeling is crucial. 90% actions are performed and simulated are understood better. Encourages active learning. Big investments. India playing big, and the future we can build together now. So five things to keep in mind. This is the fourth part of my video, and five things to keep in mind before designing for AR. First of all, know the concept. Find a problem. That is the initial thing. Find a problem and ask yourself, do you need an AR solution for that or not? Is it necessary to have an AR solution, or without an AR solution, will it do? Okay, that's the most crucial question. If you get a research saying that yes, through AR, you have done your initial research saying that with AR, there is no other solution, I think so AR has the potential solution, then get into it and understanding about how you can solve this problem with AR. Okay, know the context of this. Don't just jump into AR as it's a new technology and you're excited about it. So here is a conscious call or reality check you need to take about, do you need this technology or not? Once, let's assume that you have decided that this technology should be used for this scenario for the better impact and more better user experience for the user, then second step is have a narrative. Just like an art director or a director or a script writer, you need to have write a narrative about what that experience will have contained in the points of scenes, or prepare and think the storyline or narrative or write a script on the AI concept. After you have written, break it down into visual representations for yourself and your team. If you're working in like 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 or 50, I think so. A lot of people will understand in a very better way. As we talked about, 3D design is a better understandability. So I think so. Your visual representations will actually add better understandability to all your stakeholders about what experience you are trying to achieve through AI. Okay, so this is storyboard. Lay down your step-by-step thumbnail sketches for your narrative. Then in AR, you have this kind of asset preparation and planning. So whatever you will be using content inside your AR experiences will be in the form of 2D and 3D. Okay. So as you're preparing the storyboard or every scene will have some kind of a 2D and 3D assets listed down in the form of like cards or UI elements or instructions or navigation texts or call to actions or some 3D assets like 3D avatars, okay, a 3D model of a car, a 3D model of fruits, etc. So list down all these in your storyboard in the third step, and in the fourth step, just make all these assets listed down in 2D and 3D formats for all of the scenes, and start designing those assets in whichever tool you want. Okay. But the fifth thing you need to plan over here, also think about how you will add interactivity to it, which tools to use, and how will you prototype this. There are multiple tools out there like Adobe Aero, which is launched recently by Adobe, and it is carrying a good traction right now, and a lot of designers are using their solutions, including me. Then there is another, but that is for iOS. I think so. Wireframe is a tool, Wireframe. So you can use it as a online free tool, which you can use it for Android users also. So here in this interaction and planning interaction tools, you need to plan it out. Here you plan out and design interactions while for 2D and 3D, and also prototype your concept in tools which you have at your hand. So this is the summarize of know your context, have a narrative, sequence it like storyboards, plan out your assets, and plan out your interaction and prototype. So thank you guys. I think so that's it for this video. And the next part will have all the resources, use cases, and one detailed walkthrough of looking at concepts which I create for a periodic. Thank you, folks. Have a nice day.